Hey, welcome back to the channel, my fellow weather junkies. I'm your host, meteorologist Greg Majeski, your trusted weather source here, bringing you the weather without all that social media hype here on your Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're tracking here for today. Is we have two winter storms we're tracking, one that's currently impacting parts of the mid-Atlantic, and another one that's coming in the middle of the country. We're going to give you an update on those snow totals there. We're tracking multiple severe weather days ahead. I'm talking 3 here over the next week or so. We got one coming in going into Wednesday and Thursday, another one for Saturday, and then another one for next week. We're going to have to watch very closely. And then we're also talking about flooding concerns for the southeast as well as areas out on the west coast. We'll show you the specific information on that as well. Now, before we get going into this full report, if you're not a subscriber just yet, what you waiting for, my friend? Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. And as always, please leave me a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate your support for our little channel here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're seeing on the big picture nationally right now. Again, we got this winter storm that's developing. Got some heavy rains here coming into Tennessee. The snow is increasing across Virginia. I'll show the radar there in a second. Bitterly cold air up here into the high plains, man. We're talking 20 plus degrees below zero, even approaching 30 degrees below zero up there. West Coast, you're calm for today, but we got some rains that are going to be knocking on your front door later this week, and some very heavy rain potential and flooding potential across Southern California is definitely in the works here as we head to later in the week. Now, looking at our current advisories, here's winter storm number 1 that's going on right now. Winter storm number 2, that'll be kicking in a little bit later today. Again, you see the pink areas, that's your winter storm warnings surrounded by your winter weather advisories. The green is your flooding conditions across Tennessee into North Georgia, back over to Louisiana. And we got, of course, waiting for some more winter weather out here. You already got the flood watches up and concern for flooding down there in Southern California before the rain has even arrived. So again, a very active pattern here. Look at the big picture here across the country. There's the snows falling through Virginia and going back into Ohio. Check out some of these temperatures. Yeah, there's a minus 31 there, minus 24 across the Dakotas. Bitterly cold air there. And again, just got the plain old heavy rain here. Quiet on the west coast for now, but it is very cold here across the northwest as well. A lot of teens, and there's a single digit there. Boy, it's very cold here across the west. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of this heavy rain here across areas of Tennessee. Nashville, this area could see upwards of 7 inches of rain before it's all said and done with this initial storm system that's not going to clear until about Thursday. But right now, just plain old rain, not seeing any lightning with this, just some plain old heavy old rain with this, as you got that warm air kind of overrunning the cooler air at the surface. And of course, cold air cannot hold as much moisture, folks, so it's going to have to squeeze it out. And they're looking at abundant rains here. Now, tomorrow is where we're looking for that potential for severe weather to kind of kick on in here. So today's day 1 outlook, don't even worry about it. We're going to talk about tomorrow, day 2, as we're looking at that slight risk for severe weather here across portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and into Alabama. So we're talking about Baton Rouge, Jackson, Tuscaloosa, Hattiesburg. Those are the concerns there with the slight risk for severe weather. Let's go ahead and break this down by the category. Of course, in that slight zone, that yellow zone, that's where the highest tornado risk is going to be running. So we're talking about 5 to 9% into those zones there across Mississippi and Alabama. That'll be late tomorrow going into the evening hours. And obviously, that's where the highest wind threat will be as well for tomorrow. We're talking Wednesday going into Thursday into the evening hours. That's where the greatest problems will be in those zones. Now, as we go into a day 4 outlook here, or day 3 outlook, so we're going from day 2 to day 3, so it settles down. Not going to be a big problem there. But again, we're not through with this yet. We've got another concern coming in behind this. That'll be coming in for this upcoming weekend. So when I pull up your day 5 outlook here, this is the zone that's going to light up here for, I think, a greater opportunity for tornadoes in this zone. In fact, I suspect we may see an enhanced area for severe weather. So we're going up on the scale, going up from a slight risk down to an enhanced risk for thunderstorms in this area. Would not shock me to see that for this upcoming weekend. So please keep it tuned here for updates as we get closer to that upcoming event. Now, on top of that, we're already talking about the heavy rains we're seeing with this. Here is your excessive rain outlook here, your day 1 here for today. Obviously, we're talking about areas there across the deep south getting hit from Alabama back over toward Texas with that slight risk for some flooding taking place here for today. Going into your day 2, that continues in that same area, but then we introduce stuff out here on the west coast, up and down the coast here for marginal risk for heavy rains. And then as we go to day 3, the southeast begins to settle down a little bit. And then the west coast really kind of jacks it up. Check out that Southern California looking at a moderate risk there. They already got the flash flood watches up. So we're talking about heading toward Thursday where we're going to see that. And of course, we kind of just a marginal risk here across South Georgia and the Florida Panhandle as things begin to settle down with that exiting storm system there on the East Coast. So a very active pattern. Put this all together here. Look at your latest hazards outlook. Boy, talk about a mismatch of stuff going on here. Obviously, we've got the heavy rains here in the west. We've got windy conditions out here in the west. We're talking about that severe weather around here. Heavy precipitation, and some of this may be in the form of snow across the interior sections there, and obviously heavy snow there across up areas there into New England. So, boy, it is a very active weather here for the next 7 days. So we're going to first focus in on the short-term forecast. We're going to look at the high-resolution model data here as we're focusing on winter storm number 1. What's interesting about this is just noticing how tight this snow corridor is. It's not very big, but where it does fall, it's going to dump pretty copious amounts of snow. But you see it kind of pushing there through areas of West Virginia here for today as we head toward the lunch hour, spreading it across Northern Virginia into Maryland. But it looks like it stays to the south. There's a little bit of sliver there of freezing rain across portions of Southern Virginia through there. But again, watching this heavy rain that's going to be kind of training over the same ground there across the south. Some pretty heavy rains pushing into areas of North Georgia and central Alabama as we head into tonight. And then we'll watch as this thing pushes off toward the east. Here comes winter storm number 2, begins to develop here, going in throughout your day for tomorrow. So there's number 2. And of course, we'll watch that severe weather threat out here. Here comes the rains out here on the west coast with that next big system coming in out there. So let's go throughout the day here on your Wednesday for tomorrow. Again, we'll watch that severe weather risk kind of increase there as we go into late in the day. It looks like late in the day Wednesday. We got the pretty good squall line here starting to form down through here. We'll have to watch that closely. The snows begin to increase across areas of the Great Lakes, stretching back toward the Midwest there and spreading into the Northeast as we go into your Wednesday night. And this will take us all the way out to midnight here as this kind of moves into the southeast. So again, a lot of heavy rain here across the southeast. We'll see this next storm system kind of coming in parts out there on the west coast, and the snow's kind of spread up into Canada as we go toward midnight, going in toward your Thursday morning, so early Thursday morning. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the jet stream. That's that river air that's driving everything. And it's the jet stream configuration that's got me concerned about these 3 different severe weather events. I want to kind of compare these for you. I want you to pay attention to this very closely here. So there's one coming in right now for this weekend. This is the one going into Thursday. All right, yeah, you got a pretty good jet in here. I mean, you got a pretty good jet through blowing through there into the southeast. That looks marginal for me. Slight risk marginal. What we're showing right now looks pretty good. But I want you to pay attention. Look at this one for this upcoming weekend. This one on Saturday really has me concerned here. And it's because of the configuration of the jet stream going in towards Saturday. This is a much deeper looking trough. That's number 1. You got a slight negative tilt. When you got a negative tilt, which means you have greater spin and wind shear in the atmosphere. All right, that's a couple things. And then on top of that, you have what they call diffluence, which is, again, where the air is kind of splitting off like this. So when it gets that, you can get additional wind shear and spin in the atmosphere. So I'm a little concerned about, again, I'm thinking maybe an enhanced area, not calling on a moderate, but at least enhanced area for severe weather, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, again, going into this upcoming Saturday and into Sunday. And then we got another one for next week to watch. Now, this one's not nearly as bad as the one for Saturday, but there's the other one right here. Again, you got a little bit of a negative tilt in this, but the winds, you notice, are not quite as strong with this one. But another severe weather possible going into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So we're talking the 19th and 20th. So 3 separate severe weather events going Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and again next Wednesday and Thursday. 3 of them we got to watch there for severe weather. Let's go ahead and break this down looking at the thunderstorm component on this. Again, I want to let's do this first. I want to show this map here first. I want to show the K index. Okay, this is showing the thunderstorm threats here going into this upcoming Wednesday, Thursday. So we got this going in. And again, this kind of takes into different parameters, and you can kind of see the thunderstorm increasing here for Wednesday and Thursday across Louisiana, Mississippi, and into Alabama. All right, that's round number 1 of severe weather. We'll go up for this upcoming weekend. This one, as it goes forward, a little bit more pronounced. You got definitely a stronger squall line coming through here, coming into this upcoming Saturday and Sunday. So this is a pretty good squall line going late in the day on Saturday, punching there across Louisiana and Mississippi. So this is the one I'm most concerned about going this upcoming weekend. This clears on out, and then we got the one more to watch. Again, here's the other one. Now, this last one might be a little bit different because this one, to me, appears this would be like right along the Gulf Coast. Right along the Gulf Coast, because I don't know if there'll be enough warm air further north. So We're talking New Orleans heading over toward Pensacola, over to Panama City. So this one looks like a Gulf Coast event, a little bit different than the other two. So 3 different events, all impacting the southeast. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the precipitation breakdown here on this. Let's go ahead and look at this as we're saying goodbye to this one storm system. Obviously, we've got this mid-Atlantic storm. Here's the second one. This is our other winter storm here coming out into the plains. That's going to go up into the Midwest. So this goes up into the Midwest, spreads the snows across areas like Missouri, Iowa, into areas of Illinois. They haven't seen a whole lot of snow this year, really haven't. It's been kind of a snow vacuum right through there. So this goes up into Canada. We spread that rains across the southeast. Thursday clears out. Friday looking pretty good across the southeast, although noticeably cooler there as we wait for this next storm system coming in here out through the west to kind of move in as we go into this upcoming weekend. So going into Saturday, the rains quickly return across the southeast. Once again, as we watch that next storm system, another round of snow there going into the northeast, going into this upcoming Saturday. And then we'll watch this snow again form up. We're going to really dive in some cold air on the backside of this thing as it charges into the southeast. So again, watching that severe weather component there on Saturdays, that tracks across areas of Mississippi, in Alabama, and this sweeps across the southeast as we go into your Sunday. Notice the 540 line, that freezing line, way down here to the south. Haven't seen that in a little while for most of this month because it's just been so unusually warm with that fall spring. And this moves on out. Big old snow wraps up here across New England. We're gonna really kick in the lake effect snows here across areas of the Great Lakes as well as we go through this Saturday and Sunday and into Monday of next week. Then we're going to wait for that final system. This one will be interesting because it's much further south, and we'll see if this holds true. But boy, we're talking bringing in some snows into the deep south here. So we're talking about snows getting into Dallas. We're talking Little Rock, maybe near the Nashville area here with this next system. This one's tracking right along the Gulf Coast like with this system, and it's tracking snows across a big chunk of Mississippi, parts of northern Alabama, into Tennessee as this thing tracks up through the interior. Parts of North Georgia getting on this as well going into Thursday morning. So we're talking about the 19th and 20th on this storm track. Now this track changes. This is 9 days out. So if this track changes at all, obviously where the snow is going to fall is also going to change as well. But this spreads up into the northeast with a pretty good robust snow there for the interior and riding right into New England. And then moving on out to sea. And then finally after that, it looks like it settles down. Don't see any big storms here. A little weak one there, moving through the plains there, going toward the 22nd, the following weekend. But it just looks plain old cold because the 540 freezing line going into this. Yesterday, it looked like it was going to moderate, but it looks like this may stick around a little while. It's just looking cold here going in toward the 25th of February. So it looks like we're going to warm up out here in the west, and we're going to stay cold here in the east. So let's go ahead and break down the precipitation totals on this. Okay, we're going to first focus in on the first 72 hours for the next 3 days. So let's take this out to 72 hours first, so you know what you're gonna kind of expect. Obviously, we're looking at some very heavy rains here across North Georgia. You're seeing the heavy rains out here into California as well. Some of this obviously be in the form of snow up on the northern part of this as we go for the next 72 hours. And then we're going to take this all the way out until for 10 days out. And you just see how wet it's going to be. Boy, it's really wet. I mean, we're talking some very heavy rainfall here across the southeast, across Southern California. And some of these snow totals up here in New England will be quite impressive here over the next 10 days. But after the 10-day mark, not adding a whole lot more with this. It looks like the pattern settles down just a little bit. So we're not adding a whole lot more after that, after the 10-day mark. So let's look at the snow totals. We're going to break this down, okay? Let's look at the next 72 hours. So here's our storm system number 1. And then we're going to watch storm system number 2. These two little winter weather events. So let's focus on these first. We'll take it to the end of these events here. I'm going to stop it right about 72 hours. We'll stop about right about there, okay? So we're going to talk about this. Let's go in a little bit closer. Let's go to the regions here. Let's go to the East Coast here first. And again, we're talking about areas here in that pink zone, anywhere from 8, maybe 7 to 10 inches, a very strong path there. The snows here across the interior, not quite as robust as this other one. So generally looking at a 3 to 4 inch snow path right through here, although it does pick up here as it goes into Canada, parts of the interior sections of southeast Canada here with that storm system there. And let me go into the central portion of the country. I'll go out toward the west here, which again showing the western conditions here. Measuring in feet, 2 to 3 feet for the Sierra Nevada with that next storm system coming in the next 3 days. And obviously this storm system that's going to start, that's going to move up to the Midwest, also showing generally a 3 to 4 inch path. So that second storm system is backed off a little bit as far as its snow totals with that one. Now let's go back to the big picture again. We want to take a look at how this is going to set up for the entire nation for that next storm system. This next one is the one that's got a lot of eyes on it, because look where this thing likes to dump the snows. We're getting some more snows here as that next system clears. We're going to see the snows increase, especially across New England. We're going to see it pick up quite a bit. And then that one toward the middle of next week, into the 19th and 20th, look where it's dumping the snows here. Boom, we're talking into the southeast here, getting into Dallas, Arkansas, northern Mississippi. Again, this is still, 9 days out, so it's going to change. It will, but it swings up into the northeast once it goes on by. So again, looking at the southeast totals here with some of the snows here, look at, wow, 8, 9. You're talking about some very heavy snows here coming across Tennessee potentially. Again, this is still that far out. We don't like really locking into snow totals that far out, but looking quite a bit. Even a little light snow here, accumulations across North Georgia as well. But again, the track of that low is critical. Low tracks south, tracks further east, tracks further north. The snow line will change big time. So we got to watch that closely here until we get closer to that last storm system. All right, let's finally wrap things up talking about the clash of air masses that's going to be setting up our severe weather here. That again, the greens, the blues, the purples, that's your below normal temperatures here. Going into Wednesday, you see that warm up there as these air masses are going to clash. So this is our first clash here going into Wednesday and Thursday with those two air masses, okay? So that's going to bring up that severe weather. It pushes on toward the east. You see it kind of push off, and that's round number one. Then we're going to watch the next round going into Wednesday. Notice it kind of quickly recovers going into Saturday. Notice here how it's warming right back up across the southeast. So we're going to watch another cold shot go down here and clash with that air mass going into Saturday. And very sharp dividing line here going into Saturday night. So again, you got that very strong front, cold air bumping into this warmer air out ahead of it. And that is going to set that up for another round of severe weather there. As that pushes on through and boom, it clears on out. And look at these temperatures. We're talking in these purple areas here, upwards of 25 to 30 degrees below normal, around 20 degrees below normal there across northern Alabama, North Georgia, going in toward President's Day, going into the 17th. And that cold air just kind of sits there for the most part, okay? Just kind of winding around. And then you got another low that spins up here. And again, we're going to see the clash of the air mass right along the Gulf Coast going into Wednesday and Thursday. And that cold air will move right across. Look at that. Wow, we're talking about a really cold air mass here across the south central portion of the United States, some 30 degrees below normal here going in toward Wednesday next week. Again, that's with that potential winter storm moving in here. And that moves off toward the east, and then below normal temperatures all next week across the southeast. So that false spring that a lot of folks were enjoying, told y'all winter was going to come back, and it's definitely coming back. And it stays pretty much below normal here for the rest of the model run here, going all the way out toward the end, although it starts to modify a little bit out there toward the west a little bit, but generally stays very cold here across the eastern half of the United States. All right, let's go look at your climate outlook here. Again, this was updated to reflect what the models were kind of trending toward. So below normal temperatures here across a big portion of the country from the 16th through the 20th, a little bit milder out here into the southwest. And again, that holds in place right through the 24th. And the long-range models now is going out to 25th, 26th. This looks like this will probably hold true for a couple more days. So looks like the first half of the month may have been warmer for the southern tier. Not going to be anymore. It's going to be cold for the back half. You got to balance it out here a little bit, right? Got to pay the piper. All right, looking at precipitation. Now with that cold precipitation, we got above normal precipitation with the cold temperatures. I think I said that correctly. Below normal temperatures, below and above normal precipitation, you know you're going to get some winter weather in here somewhere. And that also continues out there from the 8th to the 14th as well. So again, we're going to watch the southeast very closely here for potential winter weather events. So we may not be done with it just yet. As we go further out the week, it starts to dry out here on the West Coast, which is good because they're going to get some pretty heavy rains out there, especially in Southern California coming up here this week. So good to get a little chance to dry out here a little bit later in the month. So a very, very active weather pattern, folks. All I got to tell you is please keep it apprised right here. To keep you tuned every step of the way. We're going to watch this severe weather threat. Again, if it looks warranted, I don't think I would need to do a live for the severe weather Wednesday, Thursday. That's because it's on the slight side. But the one this Saturday, we'll have to watch that closely. Maybe we'll warrant a live coverage on that on my Facebook page as well as over here on the YouTube page as well. And of course, we got to watch these winter storms. We got 2. We got to track, or actually 3 we're tracking into this upcoming weekend, and then that 4th one next week across potentially for the deep south. That one's going to be watched closely as well. Again, thank you everybody for checking out this update. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so at this time. Hit that subscribe button. It'd be an honor and a privilege to be one of your weather sources out there, and share it with your family and friends. It'd be good to have some more folks here on this little channel. All right, that's your update for now. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.